Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Boss Talks. I'm Kristine Drummond and my partner in crime here is with me again, Mr. Joel Lord. And today we are going to be talking about all things sales. And so many people have kind of what we would call like a negative association with the word sales, probably because a lot of people out there are doing it wrong. But what we're going to teach you today is the right way to sell to people. And it's more about helping people these days than selling to people. But I need to let you know the fee of listening to this amazing podcast today. And the fee is free. But what we do ask you to do is share it. Please share it. If you love and you're getting value from these podcasts, please share it with your friends and family. Please share it with the people in your life that are optimistic and positive and want to live a kick-ass life, an unstoppable life, or be the boss of their life. That's the only fee that we charge for these podcasts, and we're absolutely loving the comments that are rolling in every week after people are listening to these. So thank you for those. But I want to open with a statistic today, Joel, and the statistic is that at least 50% of your prospects are not a good fit for what you sell. Now you're probably all thinking, what? 50% of my prospects are not going to be a good fit for what you sell? Absolutely. And I'm going to dive into more of that later in the podcast. But with the way that the internet is these days, consumers have the ability to research and compare solutions more than any other generation that's been before us. Okay, they have access to research, they've got access to peer reviews. You know, they in an instant they can review your product or service and give it a positive spin or a negative spin in an instant. Years ago, we didn't have that. You know, when I was growing up at school, we didn't have that. You know, you used to have to write a letter to the company, or you used to have to write a letter to the newspaper if you wanted to complain about something. But now there are complaint divisions within companies to handle all the complaints, you know, to handle all the feedback coming in. So I want to give you a few other statistics here. So 50 to 90% of sales are complete before the buyer actually interacts with the sales rep. That's the power of the internet. People are doing their research. They're comparing benefits, features, prices, everything. So you want to make sure that you've got a good product or service. You want to make sure you're doing the right thing, because if you're not, you're going to be found out. Okay. So with more empowered buyers, it means that it's a longer sales cycle. And what I mean by that is, it used to be quick when people made a decision for a sale, but now the middle part of the sales cycle is drawn out because they're doing their research. Okay, they're comparing, they're looking at other options. Okay, so we need to be aware of that. You know, have a think about that. You know, with the product or the service that you provide. Also, who's ever come across a pushy salesperson? You know, they're everywhere. Who's ever done the thing, you know, the people that have the little pop-up shops in the supermarkets, and you know that they're just going to try and get you to come over and put the skin cream on or whatever it is, try the wine. So you pretend that you're on the phone. You pretend you're on a phone call. So they leave you alone. I've done that before, guys, okay? That's pushy sales technique sometimes. Like sometimes we just want to walk past. We don't want to be bothered, okay? That's why we're hugging the line of the shops. That's why we're so far over there, because we don't want you to reach out to us. We're protecting ourselves most of the time, because human behavior is that we have a tendency to impulse buy. So by us avoiding those people, we protect ourselves, not making a decision. And a lot of people don't like to say no to people as well. So we avoid that awkwardness of, oh no, it's not for me, but you don't want to hurt the person's feeling. So there's so many, and human behavior is a totally different thing. But I want you to know that 17% of salespeople think that they're pushy, but it's about 50% of prospects think that salespeople are pushy. Okay, so if you think you're being pushy, you probably are. And 6 in 10 buyers want to discuss the price on the first call. So 60% of your prospects want to discuss price on that first call. Okay, and it usually takes about 18 calls or interactions to really connect with a buyer. Also, if you think about email, I can't stand email. Oh my gosh, it's like this massive stress that hangs over me. I don't know if anyone can resonate with this, but 24% of sales emails are opened, only 24%, and the average person deletes 48% of their emails. So videos is where it's at. Videos are so much more popular for people looking at the features and the benefits of products. So taking all these statistics into consideration, Joel, like what advice have you got for people out there based on what I've just shared?
Wow. There was a lot of wow statements in there. So that's a great way to get people to lean in. Look, I've never really, I started my sales career where I was actually selling stuff. I've owned supermarkets for a long time, and that is selling. And, you know, whether you're selling what you're going to eat for dinner to your wife, or, you know, your kids to eat healthy, like it's all a sale. So like for anyone to think that they're not in sales, like first of all, just cut that out because you're in sales. But when we're talking, like I went and became a car salesman. So that's like automatically you get a really good dose of reality there. So what I learned was that it's about relationships first and foremost. Like the old days of like sales techniques, which is pretty much what's given sales the stigma that it has, and has has people hugging the walls to get away, has you possibly like running from salespeople, where, like people sat in a room and learned how to use techniques. You learned how to use embedded commands, all tricks and tactics to trick people to buy. You know, that's the old way of doing things. Now, you know, when people say, Joel, you seem to have no trouble getting sales. Well, it's because I'm having a conversation. I'm never like a sales call for me sounds like this podcast. It just sounds like I'm having a conversation, and I'm totally cool if people aren't into what I'm selling, you know, how I'm helping. And, you know, like selling isn't tricking. Sales is service. And if you literally stop trying to sell and make it about you and make it about how you can help someone else, like you're halfway there. Because like tomorrow I have an event on here tomorrow in the Gold Coast, and it's marketing and money. And I'm putting it on with my wife, Vicky, and, you know, it's part of our business, Kristine, you know, so it's awesome. And, you know, I'm like in the discussion with Vicky, like we're saying, like, this is not about us. It's not about who buys our product over the next few months. It's about how are we going to effectively teach what we know to help them make more sales, to help our, you know, people make more sales. So that's part of the sales technique. That's part of the sale. You know, our mission is to help our attendees make more money and have better marketing. And eventually, if that means that they refer us and we get a sale out of it down the track, great. If we don't, we're okay with that too. But does that make sense? I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but like realistically, like I'm just trying to say the old ways are dying and dead. There are some people holding on to it with grim death, you know, but if you can actually show people how you genuinely want to help them, then you're a long way there. Like get away. Like I can see it. I've got some friends that joined an MLM recently, and I'm all for MLM, but they're just spamming their company's crap in like the flyers. Like the products are great, but they're just spamming the flyers in their stories and on all that. And oh my God. And they're getting told to pretend that their holiday that they're on, that I know fully well was not paid for by their MLM, because they're only just joined. but they're making out that that's how it happens, and it's so old school. It's crap. It's bullshit.
Yeah,
So, yes.
and you bring up something really important there, mate, and it's the old manipulation techniques. Like, they're done and dusted, guys. If you're still using those, they don't work. People want the truth, and they will honor you and respect you if you give them the same respect and honor the truth. So don't sell to them. Like, solve their problem the best way possible. Like, if someone came to me, and this is a prime example, a lady did it the other day. I reached out to her. We have an amazing health product that we're aligned with. But she came back to me, said, you know what, Kristine, I actually take this, this, and this, and I'm really happy with it. And I was like, great. If you found something that's working, that's awesome. You know, you don't need to change anything then. You know, enjoy the rest of your week. And we just left it at that. I'm not in there trying to convince her that our health product is better than what she's doing or anything. She's just told me that she is happy. Isn't that what everybody wants, to be happy? And now I'm going to go in there and make her miserable because now I'm making her feel uncomfortable and making her wrong and me right. So you've got to be really careful with sales, guys. And Joel's completely right. Most people misunderstand the real long-term value of the relationship. You know, they may not buy from you today. They may not buy from you this year. But in 4 years, 10 years, 20 years down the track, when you're still checking in, when you're still maintaining that relationship because you honestly care about them, who are they going to come to when circumstances change, when they need the product or service that you offer? Hopefully they come to you. So you want people to make people feel good, also about not knowing what to do. You know, a lot of people come to us, Joel, in our other business, and they're not sure where to start. And we're not there telling them that you're stupid, you're crazy, like as if you wouldn't know. It's like, you know what? Me too. I didn't know where to start. And that's why I just started this with this one simple change. And then from that, another simple change got implemented. And now my whole health has been transformed. My whole relationship with food has been transformed. My whole relationship with the earth, the planet, just from making that one initial change in the beginning. So you've got to resonate with people and, you know, help people better than the next person. You know, if you're in an industry, a profession, a business where there's lots of you, how are you going to stand out? You know, what are you going to do? Because at the end of the day, don't think about what you can get from that person. Think about what you can give. And I think that's where so many people screw it up, because they've got sales KPIs that they need to meet, or they've got targets or goals or promotional levels or whatever that they need to meet. So they're running through the numbers and then people just become a number. And we don't want that. We want to make sure that we're taking care of people. And, you know, you want to make sure that you're doing the right thing and that you have an incredible product or service that can stand the test of time, you know, and if not, that you can get out and evolve it or innovate it to meet the needs and the problems of the market. So I want to share an example, Joel, if that's okay. I know I've been chatting for a long time, but I was listening to Andy Frisilla today, and he spoke about how he's always been a PC lover. You know, loves a PC, and I'm the same. I love a PC. And he thought, you know what, I'm just going to go into Apple and I'll just check it out. Like, I'll check out what they've got, but they're probably going to laugh at me and then I'll just leave. You know, they're probably going to ridicule me because I'm ancient. I'm still using a PC, but I'm just going to go in there. And he said to the guy, look, mate, I've been using a PC. I really like it. You know, and the guy goes, you know what, that's cool, mate. Like, that's usually where we all start. But let me show you how Apple differs from a PC. So he took Andy over, and for the next 3 hours, he went through all the different features, and he didn't try to sell to Andy. He didn't try to convince him. He just showed them how they differed, how they compared to each other, gave him an incredible experience. Now, Andy left that day with a Mac for himself, a Mac for his wife, went home and, you know, played around with it, absolutely loved it, went on social media, told everybody about it. And then Andy's business grew. He had 8 managers at the time. So he bought all his managers a Mac. Then his team grew to 100 people, 100 sales people and employees. Everyone in his organization uses a Mac. This one guy in an Apple shop has benefited that company millions of dollars. And that's the power of helping people rather than selling to people. You know, listening and helping people solve a problem. And that guy helped Andy solve a problem that day. And that company had benefited millions from that one sale. So if you're in a sales position in the retail industry or whatever, please don't underestimate the power of the way you treat people that come into your shop or that come in to see you in your business. Because if that person has a good experience with the way the internet is and social media these days, it's a massive referral business. And they will tell people, you know, I know when I have a good pair of runners or I go see a good movie or I go to a good restaurant, it's going on social media. If I get exceptional service, I tell that person. And sometimes I'll even go back and send a letter in, a thank you letter, or I'll send an email to the company and I'll recognize the staff member. I'll say, hey, I came in. And actually, this is a really good example. On the Gold Coast, a lady called Lucy served me in one of the retail outlets there. Now, I hate shopping. I know that's weird for a girl to say that, but I don't like shopping. And someone bought me, a beautiful friend of mine bought me a $1,000 voucher to spend at the mall. So I went into this shop and I said to her, I need evening wear, I need clothes that I can speak in, and I need clothes that I can just wear on the weekend if I'm going to a barbecue or something like that. And I said, I don't want to go from rack to rack. I want you to bring it to me. And I don't do spots, I don't do stripes, and I'm quite contemporary. So go. And she was flipping amazing. She put things on me and she was like, Kristine, nah, that doesn't suit you. That doesn't suit your skin. That doesn't suit your body shape. Nah, get rid of that. Oh my God, that looks really good. You look really powerful in that. That's a maybe. Let's put that one over there. And she was phenomenal. And I actually said to her, next time I come, can I pay you to just come around to the shops with me and you just be my little personal shop assistant? But then she left the retail outlet to go be in the daycare. She works in daycare now. So, but that's the power. That shop that day, I go back and am loyal to that shop because of the experience that I had with that one staff member. So I've spent thousands of dollars with that company now. And that's the power of it, Joel. Like, I know I've blabbed on a lot, but it's so simple, isn't it? Like, it's so simple.
Yeah, well, like a story for me, like when I first took over the supermarkets, there wasn't enough money to even put, products on the shelf. You know, we were really started in a really, really bad way. So all we had, this is how I built it. I got the staff to carry the groceries out to the car. For every elderly person, I gave elderly discounts because I knew we were in a there was a lot of retirees and everything like that. We had special days for them. We started concentrating on the customer experience. What stock we had, we made it look amazing. We had rules about how we spoke to customers, how we interacted with customers, and that's how I built a $10 million business. We never ever lost that because I never ever forgot that you build your business on the back of your customers, really, you know, and you can, like, I never believed that the customer was always right. I never ever followed that. If they were incorrect or they were being douches, like, you know what I mean? Like there was a point, but honestly, like, giving them an amazing experience was the name of the game. And this led on to the way I treated my potential people to buy cars off me. I was awful at sales. I was so bad. I could get up to the greeting and then I was like, holy shit, I need help. I'm out of my depth already. And all I was really awesome to people, you know. And a story that comes to mind is there was a guy that came in. I don't know, like I'm probably about 6 foot. This guy was probably about 5'5". He looked like he was out of Game of Thrones. He had this big beard. He looked like he'd just been running around a chicken coop all day. I don't even think he was wearing shoes. I literally don't think he was wearing shoes. He looked like he came from the outback. I don't know. And a lot of the other salespeople just avoided him because he looked like he was, I don't know, he just had that look, right? I didn't miss a beat. I walked up, shook his hand, just said g'day to him, asked him how he's going, and next thing I know, I was like, hey man, like what are you looking for? And he said, I'm looking for the top of the line Volkswagen Touareg, which was $119,000 at the time. And I got that sale. I actually got that sale, and everyone else could have got that sale, you know. And ultimately, he knew he could get the car cheaper in Sydney by a couple of grand, and he bought the car off me, and he made sure that he told my manager and the owner of he went all the way up to the owner and said, the only reason why you're getting this sale is because of Joel, because I like Joel. So he bought off me for that. So like, that's the power of it, guys. Like, just be a good human being. I swear that's what sells. Have conversations. You know, you want to talk on a vibration level, a frequency level. I know a lot of people that listen to our podcast know that that's how the universe works. Well, if you are speaking to someone and then you get into sales mode, there's a definite change in the vibration, and people can pick it up over the phone. They can pick it up over a message. You know, it's crazy, right? So if you're just having a conversation and it's just, you know, you're not putting a lot of pressure on, you're not trying to trick them, they're not feeling weird, then, you know, when you just say, hey, well, would you be interested in taking a closer look at working with me? And they go, yeah, actually I would. I'd love that. Like, I actually showed an example to Vicky. It came through. I have built a relationship with a person, and for our upcoming event, Kristine, I sent a link through and they thanked me for it. And it wasn't like just oh, thanks. It was like, holy crap, thanks. Like, it was a really sincere thank you that I sent them a link to buy from us. And I have not sent them a link, and I've known them for like over 12 months, and I've just been building that relationship. So there's that. And now, guys, you want a tactic, you want a strategy. Here's something. If you want to increase your sales, always agree with the customer. Always, absolutely agree with them when they walk in, and, you know, because as soon as you argue with them, you make them wrong. You know, and as soon as you've made someone wrong, or if you do something even worse, have you ever been a salesperson or had a salesperson that has kind of made you feel like a liar or made you feel stupid? Have you ever bought off them after that? Absolutely not. So if you always agree with them, and that could be like, oh, well, that's expensive. You could say, absolutely. A lot of things are expensive these days. Like your iPhone's expensive. Like, they're not arguing with you. It's just come up for them. They're not being pricks to you or whatever, you know. They're just saying that, hey, that's expensive. It's just a comment. And if you're just having a conversation, you wouldn't get angry at them or make someone wrong for saying that in a conversation at a coffee shop, would you? So don't do it when you're sharing what it is that you do, you know. So for goodness sake, if your product is superior to a product they're using, for example, and they come in and they say, hey, this is what I'm using, don't like make them feel stupid for using that product. Like, it's another thing that we've learned from Andy Priscilla's podcast. Like, and it's so true. Like, because you probably started out somewhere too. That's exactly what Kristine was saying before. Like, you started out somewhere, and maybe they just haven't learned what you've learned. Like, there's, even when it comes to sales, Kristine, there were sales things that I learned when I was selling cars that I wouldn't use in a pink fit now. You know, I've learned better ways. But if someone came to me and says, hey, this is how I sell, I'm not going to go, oh, dude. I go, wow, yeah, me too. I remember when I used to do that too. Like, I had some pretty good success with that. You know, so like, Kristine, jump in anywhere.
Yes, I love that. That, like, honestly, microphone drops all through that, mate. Like, you've hit the nail on the head. And I think there's two sides to, I think, to the coin. And a lot of people look at someone coming into their business, and you've got the side that, here's Joel coming in. I'm going to sell to him as many products as I can. I've got to meet my quota. I've got to meet my target. So I'm just going to offload as much as I can. Upsell, upsell, upsell. The second side to that is, here comes Joel. Oh, I'm curious. Why is he here? Like, I wonder why he's here today. I wonder what he's looking for. So you get curious about why they're there. And I did a really silly thing one day when this lady at one of those pop-up stands was telling me the day she was having, and she was like so close to hitting her KPIs for the day. And this is a tactic that worked for her that day. She got me, the sucker, to buy. She had a beef jerky business, and my husband Tom, he loves jerky. Now, they did something really smart. They had the jerky cut up into tiny little squares, right? So I tried some, and I thought, yeah, he's going to love this. Like, this is really hot, like spicy. And I said, oh, look, what do you need to hit your KPI target? And she told me, and I had to buy $65 worth of beef jerky, which was 2 big bags. I thought, oh, that's cool. Tom's bought 2 big bags before from other companies. So yeah, I'll just do it. Help this lady out. So she hit her quota. She was kind of thankful for it. Got these 2 big bags of jerky home, couldn't get our teeth through it. Oh my goodness, it was so tough. And even trying to get the knife through it to cut it into the little squares was near impossible. Like, it was so tough. So we threw out uneaten jerky, like 2 bags of jerky. And I was just like, oh my God, what a sucker, So never heard from the company again. No one ever checked in. Like, did I like the jerky? I did go back to the pop-up stand, never saw that girl ever again. There was always different people, but I gave them my feedback. Hey guys, like, we couldn't even get our teeth through this when we bought it. We threw out 2 big bags. The way that you chop it up, like, that's great, but I don't know, you need a grinder for people at home to get through it. So I did go back and give my feedback, but, I think the simplest strategy, the simplest sales strategy is exactly what we've spoken about. It's just to help people, and as long as you take care of people, you can't go wrong, guys. And if you can sleep good at night, put it like when your head hits that pillow, knowing that you're a good person up to good things, then people can't question your intention. If you've got a great product, you've got provide a great service, and you're literally trying to help people get results or solve their problems, then your conscience is clear, and I know so many people out there are going, and we love network marketing. So we know there's a lot of network marketers out there that are kind of like, oh, I don't want to be that pushy salesperson that, has to flog it to their friends. And you know what I say to those people? Like, well, we're actually in a really cool company that has an incredible health product that literally can help people transform their health. So we're really fortunate in that aspect that, yeah, it's your family and friends that you want to give the gift of health and vitality to, isn't it? So don't you want to pass that on as a gift? Like, people buy from people that they trust. So if I go to someone and say, look, I thought of you because I know X, Y, and Z, like, it could be a bike. Like, let's say that someone is looking for a bike out there, and you've just bought a bike and it's the best bike you've ever had, and you reach out to someone and say, hey chick, like, I know you're looking for a bike. I just bought one. I love X, Y, and Z about this bike, and I couldn't help but wonder if maybe you want to get the same model. That's what network marketing is. You're basically a referral business. You're recommending things. It's word of mouth, and if she's not interested in the bike, so be it. I did my job. I was the messenger, and then people are big enough and ugly enough to make their own decisions about that product or that service. So for me, like, it's 7 years I've been in network marketing. I friggin' love it. I love everything that it provides. And I love the sales side of it as well, because the more sales I make, the more impact, the more lives, the generations I get to change for the future. I get to make this world a better place simply by sharing and helping people solve their problems. And I'm not there to sell all the products. I'm there to listen and go, okay, what's one or two things about their health that they'd love to change. And for me, when I was first starting out as a PT, I'd go into like a supplement shop, and I would say to them, I just need something that's going to give me the energy to get through it. And they would give me like all the creatine things and like all this stuff, right? And I was like, I had so many injuries. I had so many injuries from the things I was taking, that when I went in there and I said, look, I'm taking all this stuff, but I'm getting injured. Like, I think I've got too much energy. It's like prepping me up and I'm going nuts on my reps and things like that. And so they just tried to sell me another thing, rather than listening to me and saying, you know what, Kristine, maybe you don't need to be on anything. Like, why don't you just go out there and change your diet? Start with that and do that for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then come back. But in the first instance, a good diet should be enough. If you're nourishing yourself enough, we shouldn't need to be popping ourselves with supplements and things. And the one that I was taking was banned later in Australia. That's how bad it was for our body. So you know what I mean, Joel? Like, I think we've got to listen to people. Like, yeah. I wanted something that I could take that was safe, that would give me the energy, but I was looking for something that wasn't going to cause, it was actually just causing me more issues. And they didn't give me the solution to that. And then I never went back to that supplement store ever again.
It's funny that you should bring up supplements. Like, I'm curious, like, we're obviously fans of Andy Frisella. Like, do you think if you're in America and you went into one of his stores, what do you believe would have happened, like, with the way he runs his company?
Oh, it'd be a totally different experience. He trains his people to help people. That's their mission statement. It's help people get results, period. And that's what he trains them to do.
Yeah. So it's like, it's amazing, and it does start at the top. And yeah, like, he did tell a story about, this is even like his podcast partner now actually went into his store well before he knew Andy, and got told to not buy any products yet and to come back later. So this guy could have, and he was in there to buy a lot of products. Like, he's going to get the card out and like go all out. And like, imagine what that's like, to say no to a sale, And another thing that is crazy, and you know what's so funny about that story of that happening on the other side of the world has now got us talking on a podcast in Australia about Andy Frisella's supplement company. Do you see the ripple effect that could create? Like, it's crazy. That one sales guy who told Vaughan to go somewhere else, go away and eat a healthy diet for 3 months, and then come back once he's done a proper exercise setup program, and then they'll see what he needs, has got us talking about Andy Frisella's company. Like, that's the power of a great sales guy, And like, something that I'm proud of that we do ourselves is, like, when you and I are looking at prospective clients, like, one of the questions we ask is this going to put you in financial difficulty, like, working with us? Like, and that's something that we learned from Scott Amor, and I believe to my heart we would be doing it anyway. Like, how many coaches and consultants and, are out there doing that? It's actually saying no to people, because actually, no, here's some steps that you can take first to get some money flowing in your bank account, and then come and work with us. Here's our podcast. Use our podcast to learn some stuff. Here's our like lower cost stuff. Like, here's our freer stuff. Here's the books we've read. Use those to make the money, then come work with us. You know what I mean? Like, and Scott actually asks that. He knocks people back, like Scott Amor, and here we are, we're talking about him too. So, like, that's so powerful. Like, add that to your sales process, add it to your conversation. Like, that's caring about people, actually saying no. Like, we like, I believe we could be like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars in front if we didn't use that technique in the short term. But you know what? When our customers and clients were in financial pain and they attach it to working with us, they're going to talk. And you know what? They can get on to thousands of people on social media really, really quickly. So yeah, we want to make sure that, you know, like obviously a stretch is good. A little bit of pain is fine. It helps you grow. But if you're going to put people in shock, you've got to learn to say no to them. Like, or if your service isn't a great fit for what they do, say no. Just say no. Like, hey, and refer them to someone who can help them. So that's like huge for me. Like that, you know, but I think what I find so many people that I help in sales, they're so frightened that they're going to get told no. They're super frightened they're going to say no. Like then, look, if I share my coaching, like I've got sales calls all next week. We've got an event tomorrow. If someone says no to me, they're not saying no to me. They're saying no to the product right now. You know, they might not need it right now. You know, they're not having a personal dig at me. Don't make it all about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they're not rejecting you, they're not even rejecting anything. but so many people take it so personally. So don't take the no as personal. And you watch, once you can do that, they will, like, you're going to feel so much better about sharing your product because, you know, ultimately you don't need to convince anyone that your product works. The only thing your potential client needs to believe is that you believe it works. I'm going to say that again slowly. They don't need to believe the product works. They need to believe you believe it works. So I believe wholeheartedly anyone that is a great fit for our company, and notice I didn't say anyone or everyone. I believe anyone who is a good fit for our company that comes and works with us, like, is going to get Kristine's and my 100% and then some. We are going to bring it. So I'm super confident that we're going to help people because we're sharing tactics that we've used ourselves. So we are a product of the product. We totally believe in what we do, wholeheartedly. So, like, that comes through in our conversation. You know, Kristine and I aren't frightened to share, like, where we were before we were using these systems and tactics and that. Like, I believe at the start of the podcast, I said that when I began into the supermarkets, I couldn't afford to put stuff on the shelves. You know, who shares that? You know, honestly. So if you can get honest with conversations, share your story, be passionate about what you do, it's going to sell. Like, your products will sell themselves. Kristine, yeah?
Oh, totally, mate. Totally. But I think a lot of people, they miss the mark because, look, I'm going to give you guys a strategy today. And the strategy is have a look at what your competitors are doing. Have a look at what you're doing. Cross off everything that is the same or similar. And then have a look at the things that you're doing that they're not doing. And if it's great, then elevate that. And then have a look at all the things that they're not doing that you could come and add value in it. You know, like, because at the end of the day, I'll give you another story here. Just recently, I've never had this done before, but I went in, I'm sick of using the mascara and everything and so much makeup. So I went in to get my eyelashes tinted and I got my eyebrows tinted as well. So went in and you're kind of in a room, which I didn't expect, but with like 10 other people getting it all done at the same time. So it's not very intimate. However, what I did like is the follow-up. So when I left, you know, oh my gosh, the eyebrows were way too dark. I had to kind of scrub them back a bit. But the manager actually texted me the next day and said, hey, Kristine, I just wanted to check in. We'd love some feedback. You know, did you enjoy your experience? You know, what have you got? And I just wrote back and said, look, to be totally honest, I can't even see what you've done to my eyelashes. Think that was a bit of a waste of money. Didn't really work. The eyebrows were a little bit dark, dulled them down a bit, and I'm okay with that now. Now, she had a conversation backwards and forwards with me about that. She didn't try and convince me to come back in. She didn't try and, you know, put a heavy sales thing on me or make me feel bad. She just, like, she was like, thank you so much for this feedback. You know, this is really handy for us. Your eyelashes can get darker if you come back in. However, if you're not happy with it and you're happy with just continuing on with your mascara, then do that, like, if that works for you. So, and then she followed up with me. There was a follow-up process. So I walked out of there, like, thinking, oh, I'll probably never go back in there. But from her follow-up process, I was like, yeah, you know what? She actually gave me great customer care after the experience. How many people do that? How often do you go in and buy a product or a service from someone and you never hear from the business or the company again? Whether you're a hairdresser or a plumber or a coach, or if someone's just bought a one-off thing with you, like how often are you checking back in with those people? And I think this is where the real value is. And also, if someone has given you a no, don't just cut them off the Christmas card list. Like, that's an opportunity to go and provide exceptional value and to be at front of mind. So when they change their mind or when circumstances change, you're subtly at the forefront of their mind and they're going to come back to you because you provided such amazing value. You didn't care whether you got the sale out of them or not. It's not about that, guys. It's about taking care of people and solving their problems. Now, Joel and I know, we qualify people. Not everybody is a fit for our coaching business. We don't want to work with everybody. We have a certain select characteristics of person that we like to work with. So if we don't want to work with someone, we will definitely recommend them to somewhere where we think that they can be best helped. Yeah. So we don't just leave them in the lurch and say, you're not a great fit for us. We are referring them onto books, seminars, other coaches, whatever we can to help that person. And, as a PT, that was unheard of. Like, I had a particular market like when I was a PT, I had men and all sorts of people coming to me to be trained. It wasn't in my market. So I would refer them on to another trainer that I knew would be happy to take that client. But that's unheard of. In some of these professions, it's cutthroat. People aren't referring to other people because we've got a scarcity mentality. And if you've got a scarcity mentality, you will lose. You need to have an abundant mentality. Okay, so make sure that if you have a product or a service, you're not just looking for that next number, okay? And you are open enough to say to that person, you know what, our products can't actually help you. My service can't actually help you, but I know somebody that can help. And you referring that person on, that person will always remember you for that. Joel, anything else to close out?
Yeah, look, ultimately, guys, if you don't have proper follow-up, and Grant Cardone says this, I've said on the podcast heaps of times, if you think sales is sleazy and you haven't found that there's a different way, even after all this talk today, understand that the fortune is in the follow-up and it's in the follow-through. If you have great follow-up, you will outsell a great salesman. There's no doubt, because a relationship will build like way more money and trust and like than a sales guy any day. I literally topped the sales in my car job while still being terrible at sales because I followed up like a beast. Like, I'm telling you, I followed up like an absolute boss. I cared more. I did crazy things. Like, I was literally taking cars out to people's houses, like hours away, to measure to see what it looked like in the garage. Like, I'm not joking. If it would match the damn garage, like, and they look good at the front of their house, like, far out. No one else is doing stupid, crazy crap like that. But hey, it worked, So ultimately, to close out for me, like, if you want to make 84% more money and help 84% more people and have an 84% raise in your impact, get a great follow-up strategy. And they're the sorts of things that we get to teach on another podcast or at our events. Come and learn that. And to close out, like, build and nurture relationships. Think of it like, you plant the seeds and then you nurture the seeds. And then one day you get to harvest the seeds. You don't get to harvest on the day that you plant the seeds. You don't just get to plant and then leave the seeds alone for a couple of years and then come back and expect to have an amazing crop of, like, plants to harvest. You must do all three all the damn time. And I know that's a universal, Kristine, but like, I'm standing by it. The way that I have gained success and trust in the market is people believe that I'm fair income because I'm cheering them no matter what. You know, people don't want to hear this. They seriously don't want to hear this. They want the quick fix strategy. How can I do the best copy on the planet to get people to buy my stuff now? Sure, that stuff can be important. At the end of the day, though, I'm cheering people no matter what, when they're starting out, when they're succeeding, when they're failing, when they're like, just cheer them no matter what. When they choose another coach, I cheer them. And, you know, it starts a conversation. I say, hey, I just started coaching with this person. I'm like, great, fantastic. I've heard great things. Or, hey, you're going to get some tremendous results. Getting a coach is always a great idea. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to learn so much. So you do that, and then what are people going to be saying about you? It's just common sense. You want people to say nice things about you. Be a decent human being. Gary Vee's not lying. The best marketing strategy is to care, and not pseudo care, not bullshit caring, not like caring and then walking out the back of the shop or hanging the phone up and saying bastard or anything like that. You want to genuinely care, like, oh wow, I can't, like, I've lost count of times I walk out of a coaching call or a sales call that's either gone, it could go one way or the other, you know, or see something on Facebook. Oh wow, look, this person's doing that. Yeah, how cool is that? Like, I hope they kick ass, and be genuine like that. And if you can't find your way to do that, like, I don't know, this where the market's going, the tricks of the trade and the sleazy bull crap is going to get found out more and more and more. And sure, it might work once, but part of building your business, there's 3 ways to building your business, and one of them is getting return customers. If you trick someone, they ain't coming back, and they're going to knock about 10 other possible clients that could come your way out of the road. So what's best? The quick sale, the trick, the now money, or building the relationships that like last way longer and are way more lucrative. You get the chance to help more people and make a big impact, and it just starts to snowball. So that's my mic drop. I don't know.
Yep. Amazing, mate. You've nailed it. You've absolutely nailed it. And that's it, guys. We've given you so many amazing strategies today. We hope you got a lot out of this podcast. We covered a lot. A lot of what Joel said just there comes into your own personal branding. What are people saying about you when you're not in the room? And if you're a good person, not bullshitting people, being authentic, telling them the truth, you know, having their best interests at heart, then people are going to come back to you and they're going to buy from you, okay? Because you're genuinely a good person with good intentions and you're upholding a level of integrity. So that's it from us. We enjoyed this podcast. I hope you did as well. We can't wait to share the next one. And thank you once again, Joel. You were awesome as always. And my family's about to bust in on me, so we need to cut it off here. Goodbye, everybody.
See you later.
Damn.